What is up, crew? We are going to be looking at the latest PlayStation 5 cooling fan. We are going to be checking out the latest PlayStation 5 cooling fan, the Arctic Cooler from SCRY. Let me correct myself, I said SCRY, it's actually pronounced SCRY. It's the SCRY PS5 Arctic Cooler. Now there's something I have to address straight away. In the last PlayStation 5 cooling fan video I did, I had a few complaints in the comments about the tool that I used to test the thermal effect of the PlayStation 5 fan. A lot of people seem to think that using my hand was just not good enough. This time around, to make sure I don't make such a rookie mistake, I'm going to make sure I use this hand. Now first things first, let's go through some of the features of the Arctic Cooler. The Arctic Cooler consists of 6 hyperfluid fans, each one that runs at 10,000 RPM at low noise, with a combination of magnets and fluid like oil to make them extra quiet. The parallel lamellar frame design, which is a bit of a mouthful, gives you large surface area for better heat dissipation. It has a super speed USB port with up to 10 gigabits per second, which means that you don't lose out on that extra USB spot that the frame is using. It works in a flexible orientation, working with your PlayStation 5 if it's in vertical or horizontal. It's plug and play, easy installation, no software required, and it even has the most important thing of all, LED illumination. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, which already looks a lot beefier than other fans that we've checked out before, and take this, install it on the PS5, see how easy it is to install, see how quiet it is, and give it a thorough chronic spot and hand test to see if it actually cools the system at all. Now as with previous PS5 fan tests, I will follow the same process. I will put on Spider-Man Miles Morales, run it on the system with no fan for half an hour, find out how warm the system is, then put the fan on, keep it running for another half hour and see if there's any difference. Now you will notice in the footage of me trying to connect the SCRY Arctic Cooler to the PS5, it was a little bit fiddly when trying to slide in the USB. Now as we've said, this is an early version that I got access to, and SCRY have noticed this issue and fixed it in their final product. Now there were some things I absolutely loved about the SCRY Arctic Cooler, and there was one or two things that I wasn't that keen on. Firstly, and most importantly, the cooling abilities of the SCRY Arctic Cooler are absolutely brilliant. Now we did have a little bit of a joke at the beginning of this episode about me using my hands as a test tool to see the cooling effectiveness of these fans, and granted it's not really the best way to check them out, but if you can notice a difference using your hand, that kind of shows something significant. And I have to say that comparing to all of the fans I've tested, the PlayStation console is noticeably cooler across the whole area. With previous fans, I've noticed at least a significant hot spot ranging through to the middle of the console, whereas with the SCRY, hardly any of the consoles specifically felt hot or warm. And I think that's testament to the 6 fans that are pumping away on this thing. And it was nice that it comfortably sat in the vertical and horizontal orientation as well. As a lot of you know, I don't have the best position for my PS5. I'm a bit limited in where I can put it, so having an option like a fan that can sit horizontally and help keep it a little bit cooler is really, really cool. Now if you want to see more in-depth and technical analysis of the cooling factors of the SCRY Arctic Cooler, then you can check out their information on the website. On top of that, it was really cool as well that you don't lose the use of one of your USBs just because it's plugged in. It's really nice that they do provide a USB on the fan itself for you to use and for it to be as fast as it is. However, one thing that did disappoint me is that the fan isn't quite as quiet as I hoped it would be. Now it does advertise itself as being as quiet as a library, but some libraries can have a little bit of an annoying hum. And I must say that the fans on the SCRY Arctic Cooler are noticeable in a quiet room. Granted, if you're playing a game loud, you won't notice them as much, but they aren't as quiet as I hoped they would be. And I guess, to be fair, there are 6 fans working away here, so that is going to add to the noise a little bit. What would have been nice to solve this issue is if there were different fan speeds, then you could run maybe the fan slower and reduce the noise a little bit, or if you could just switch the fan off if you didn't want to use it. But when the SCRY Arctic Cooler is connected to the PS5, it is on at all times. But one thing I can say is that the PS5 SCRY Arctic Cooler is without doubt the best PS5 fan I've ever used, and does a significant job at keeping the PS5 cool. Now if you do want to get your hands on a SCRY PS5 cooler, links will be in the description below. If you want to see other alternatives to cooling your PS5 and you want to see how well my right hand is as a thermal test tool, then check out this episode right here.